Adjust the 08, 09, 010 LCD settings. Now what you get off the box is this LCD. It's a generic LCD that is the same for 8, 9 and 10 and 10X models. Right, so all the functionalities we're going to explain to you today are exactly the same. Now out of the box, of course, right, you get this red button here, right, press and hold to turn it on, press and hold to turn it off. Now to adjust the different speed levels, the presets, right, you get 3 gears here, right, you run through the modes of 1, 2 and 3, 3 being the highest power and 1 being the lowest power, right, so and to adjust to turn on and off the headlights and the rear lights, just press and hold the mode button, you'll get the front lights turn on. To turn it off, same thing, just press and hold the mode button. Now to go into more detail of the different settings, right, if you want to adjust more functionalities, you go into the settings mode of this LCD, press and hold the power button and the mode button. The first one is the LCD brightness level, right, you can toggle through the levels to adjust the LCD brightness, right, we normally keep it at 1 or 2. Now next, right, you get a miles or kilometers display, right, whether you want it to be displayed, whether you want your speed or the distance to be displayed in miles or kilometers, you can choose accordingly. Okay, next up, P3 is the voltage level of your scooter. Now this is a 08 that we're showing, so it's a 48 volt. Now if you have a 010 or 10X, right, your settings will be set to 52 volts, right, so you can adjust accordingly. Next, right, P4, right, P4 is sleeping time. Now, how long you want the sleeping time before the scooter shuts down with no activity. Now, every time you do not use the scooter, normally we leave it at about 12 or 15 seconds before the scooter shuts down by itself. Right, so here we set to a ridiculous number, 56 seconds, because we don't ever want the scooter to shut down for the time that it's inactive. Right, so P05, right, is not used. It's not used. Right, P6, right, is the inches of the tire. Now it's 8 inch for the 08. It should be 10 on the 010 and 10X. Right, so we toggle. Okay. So P7 is the number of magnets on the motor. Right, this should be the factory default setting, so best not to touch it. Okay, next. Right, P8 is a power level. Now this is where you adjust your top speed, right, and your minimum speed. Now for 100%, this is it'll be the full power of the motor. So if you want something less than full power, you can adjust it down. Right, so for P9 is a kickstart or a zero start. If you find that you prefer to have a kickstart, you can adjust it to 1. If you want a zero start, you adjust it to 0. Right, next, P10 is not being used. Right, P11 is electronic braking. Now, if you want electronic braking to be set, to be activated, you go 1. If you want it off, you go 0. Okay, P12 is the starting acceleration. So if you want a very strong acceleration from right from the get-go, right, you can adjust it to 5, or if you want something that's softer, you adjust it to 1. P13 is not used, P14 is not used, P15, right, is the minimum cutoff voltage for the controller of your scooter. Best not to touch that because leave it at the factory setting. Okay, let's run through. Next, P16 is to clear the odometer. Now that's a little trick that you can use when we want to reset our odo. Right, P17, it's a cruise mode. So if you want cruise, you set it to 1. If you want cruise, you set it to 0. Alright, P18, P19, and P20 are not being used. So leave it at factory default. So there you have it. This is how you would go into more detail on your 0 LCD. Right? For any questions, let us know. Thank you.